There is a chemistry in attachment. What begins as connection does not stay purely emotional. Beneath every interaction, something deeper is at work. An invisible system of chemistry and biology shapes how we feel, attach, and bond. Attraction is not just a thought, it is a physiological experience, a quickened heartbeat, the anticipation before a message, the lingering feeling after an interaction. These are not random, they are signals of the brain and the body aligning around connection. What feels like a choice often begins as a response. And once activated, this system is difficult to override with logic alone. When attachment begins to form, the brain changes. It enters a state that is remarkably similar to addiction. Dopamine increases. This is the chemical of reward and pleasure. It creates excitement, focus, motivation towards that person. They begin to feel important, even urgent. At the same time, oxytocin increases. This is the bonding hormone. It deepens trust, closeness, emotional safety, and then serotonin shifts, which can lead to intrusive thoughts, preoccupation, thinking about that person again and again. The result is powerful. That person becomes mentally consuming, emotionally consuming. Everything about them feels good. This is why early attachment feels intense, sometimes overwhelming. And this is also why it feels so different, especially outside a primary relationship. The connection can feel deeper, more meaningful, more real. But here's what most people don't see, they miss. It is not always about the person. It is about the conditions. Novelty amplifies dopamine. Something new always feels more exciting. Secrecy increases intensity. What is secret feels better. What is secret and hidden feels more powerful, exclusive. It binds you. Limited time creates urgency. What is rare feels more valuable. And the brain reads all of this as significance. In contrast, long-term relationships operate differently. They move into stability, predictability, consistency. The chemistry has already shifted from intensity to calm, from excitement to security. And that contrast can be misleading. It can make the new connection feel more alive, even if it is not deeper, not stronger, just chemically different. Because it incites new chemicals in your body that feel more like connection, attachment. But attachment is not just chemistry, it is also pattern. Each person carries an attachment style formed early in life. Some people attach quickly. They seek closeness, reassurance, emotional presence. Others keep distance. They value independence, control. In an outside connection, these patterns intensify. An anxious person may attach faster, invest deeper, feel more. An avoidant person may feel safer here, less pressure, less expectations, and together these patterns create a loop, each person reinforcing the other, strengthening the bond, making it feel even harder to step away. And then there is something even more powerful that follows: emotional exposure. Attachment accelerates when people share not their surface connections, but their fears, their struggles, their dreams, disappointments, vulnerabilities. These create intimacy fast. And especially when those conversations are not happening at home. The outside connection becomes the place where you feel understood, seen, heard, validated, and that creates a shortcut to closeness, bypassing everything else, bypassing time, bypassing reality, making something feel profound very quickly. And then there is inconsistency, one of the strongest dividers of attachment. Not constant connection, but unpredictable connection. A meeting that happens by chance, so you go there again and again in the hope of catching a glimpse. A message that comes unexpectedly. A meeting that feels rare. You cross each other's path occasionally. A passing, fleeting smile. Eyes that meet. Attention that is not granted, not guaranteed. And it happens all in secret. This creates what psychology calls intermittent reinforcement. And it is powerful because the brain then starts chasing it, waiting, anticipating, hoping. It is just not about being with the person anymore. It is about all the wait when you will get that connection again. And the uncertainty strengthens attachment even more. Over time, something shifts. What begins to be seen as a choice starts to feel like a need. The person occupies more space in your mind. There is a pull to reach out, to connect, to not to lose it. Trying to step back feels uncomfortable, sometimes even painful. This is where chemistry and emotions merge. The brain starts associating the person with relief, pleasure, with emotional regulation. And without realizing it, you begin to depend on them. Not just want them, need them. This is the point where attachment becomes difficult to break, even when you know the consequences. But chemistry does something else. It distorts meaning. It amplifies significance. The intensity of the feeling starts to look like depth. The urgency feels like importance. The desire feels like truth. But intensity is not always accuracy. Feeling something strongly doesn't make it right, or lasting, or real in the way it feels then. The brain is not just experiencing the connection, it is shaping how you are interpreting it. And that can lead to overestimating what that means, what it is, what it could be. This intensity is not designed to last. Over time, the brain adapts. Dopamine stabilizes. The emotional high softens. And something else appears. Clarity. The connection begins to look different. Not necessarily because it changed, but because the chemistry did. This is sometimes where confusion begins, even disappointment. Because some decisions may have been made during the peak of intensity, and now reality feels different, more grounded, less urgent, more real. And underneath all of this, there is a deeper truth. Attachment is not just chemistry, it is meaning. The chemistry only created the feeling, but the need gives it direction. The desire to feel seen, valued, appreciated, alive. These are human needs, real needs, important needs. And when attachment forms outside a primary relationship, it is often revealing something. Not just about the person, but about what has been missing, unexpressed, or unacknowledged within you, within yourself, or maybe within the relationship. Understanding this changes everything, because now it gives you a choice to stay lost in the intensity or to step back and understand what is it really showing you. The goal is not to shut down the feeling, but to integrate it, to bring awareness into it, responsibility into it, and honesty into it. Without it, chemistry creates illusion. With it, attachment becomes something you can understand, something you can navigate, something you can transform. Because what feels uncontrollable has patterns. What feels overwhelming has structure. And what feels like fate often has explanation. And maybe the real question is not why does this feel so strong, but what is this connection awakening in me that I have not been facing? Because awareness changes the experience. It slows it down. It brings clarity. It brings truth into something that once felt automatic. And without that awareness, chemistry can take you elsewhere, where you never intended to go. But with it, you don't lose the feeling, you understand it. And that changes everything.